Welcome back to another episode of Football Tailgaters, where we talk all about football, including sports betting, trades, all that kind of stuff. Today, I have here with me Andy, the non-biased football fan, and then I have Yams, the Texan Jets fan, sorry. And then I'm Aaron, a Cowboys fan. And here we have 3 questions we're going to be talking about today. First off, with Drew Brees saying, he tweeted that he might come back. He's undecided right now. He might come back and play football. And we're going to talk about how, what we think of that. And then second off, we got, excuse me if I butcher it, but we got cornerback Jair Alexander from the Green Bay. He became the highest cornerback. Is he worth it? Or is it just to make the player happy, just being the top paid player in the whole league? We'll talk about that. And then lastly, we have the Lions have no primetime games. Do they deserve one? But first, we're going to start off with the tweets. I have the tweet right here. He says, Drew Brees says specifically when he's talking about the subject, if he's coming back to football or not. He says, despite speculation from media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business and philanthropy. I may train for the pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coach my kids, or all of the above. I'll let you know. What do you guys think? Yams, you can start off.
I think he definitely should come back. I don't think he should have ever retired. I thought he could still play at a very high level than most quarterbacks that are in the league right now. I think he should at least come back 1 year, kind of do what Tom Brady, and it seems that's the trend now. Quarterbacks look for a team that's ready to go, or ready to win now type of Super Bowl team, just how Russell Wilson did with Denver Broncos. I know Russell Wilson had a little bit of setbacks in Seattle, but that's probably more of an issue with the team not building or consistently building around him. So yeah, I definitely do think that Drew Brees should come back. I don't think he should have ever left. I think if he were to have at least go to a team that's ready, I think he would have been okay. I don't think he's a really good commentator or whatever he was doing.
He's 43 years old. He's 43 years old. He's a year younger than Tom Brady. That's something to note right there. And I mean, do we really remember his last season, how impactful it was? Did it really leave on a high note? Because I don't remember that. I thought he had it was a nice season, but it wasn't anything to just be like, definitely come back.
I don't think he was bad. For example, if I compare him to Big Ben. See, Big Ben, yeah. I did think he lost a lot of, he gained a lot of weight and lost a step, or he just didn't take care of his body, because a lot of, the analysts kept saying that he's just not taking care of his body. For example, Tom Brady takes care of his body. So I don't know if it was more of his weight factor, or he just didn't care anymore and just didn't practice anymore. So I didn't see it so much in Drew Brees that I saw in Big Ben. So I think he still can play at a high level.
What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I agree, because if we look at his record, when he left New Orleans Saints, he left it at 12-4. They went 1-1 in the division playoffs. So they won one and then they lost one, and they got kicked out in the divisional playoffs. In 2019, they went 13-3. They went to the wild card game. They got kicked off. 2018, they went 13-3 again, and they went 1-1. Lost the conference championship. Mm-hmm. That was the whole cornerback debacle against the Rams. Hopefully they got over it by now. But he's a lot better than a lot of quarterbacks out there. And not necessarily if he comes play for New Orleans, I wouldn't say so. Hey, I just go back to New Orleans, because they do have, Sean Payne did leave, And I mean, Kamara's not there anymore. He's in jail. And then I really don't know what's up with Thomas. I mean, they got Landry. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I don't. He doesn't put you to the next level, in my opinion. You got Tyrann Mathieu in the safety for the defense. So, I mean, you can maybe do some things in New Orleans, but I mean, there could be. I don't know. I would have thought that Drew Brees and Washington could have been a bigger impact there, especially in that division. Maybe would have been easier to win instead of going to against Tom Brady and Tampa. So I mean, there is some options, but the thing is that he needs to decide pretty quickly because these teams just can't be waiting and see what happens. I mean, he still needs to come. He didn't play for a year, so he still needs to figure things out. I mean, I think he's very smart, so I'm sure that he's gonna know what the offense not have too much of a trouble learning the new offenses. So I don't mind him coming back. I mean, like you said, Aaron, he is 1 year younger than Tom Brady, and look how Tom Brady is playing still. He's still one of the top quarterbacks, and I would consider still Drew Brees a top 10 quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much a top 5, but top 10, and that
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's 32 teams, so that's a high percent, high up there. So, I don't see him. Why not come back?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I just don't see what team.
How many years does he have on his contract if he came back? Like, I don't remember that part.
What do you mean from
Like if he
from
comes
when he left? And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What was his contract when he left New Orleans? That's a good question.
Let me see.
But I mean, okay, like it's because you can also think of like scenarios. Like imagine Drew Brees with the Vikings. I mean, that's pretty exciting. I would assume that he would put him at the next level. I mean, I know that they're paying a lot to Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I got it right here. So it's on March 2017, 2020, Drew Brees signed a 2-year contract worth $50 million. So it would have kept him through the 2021 season. So
he'll be free, right?
Yeah, he's a free agent. Yeah.
So I think the Commanders would have been a good place. I know that Carson Wentz is there, but I mean, come on, you can still make that work, especially with a good head coach like Ron Rivera. Seahawks is another place where he can play in.
But that's not a team. That's not like a ready to win it kind of team.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean,
I think Minnesota,
but I mean, they have their
Kirk Cousins. They only got him for a year, so that means they're done with him after this year.
Well, yeah. So what are you saying to Drew Brees? I mean, get older and we'll just come back next year, or
no, come back this year.
And to where though?
To Minnesota. Step aside, Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
Step aside and just pay all that money to Kirk Cousins and see what this guy has. And then with Drew Brees, how long is he going to give you? It's because it's not as easy as just saying, oh, yeah, just go to Vikings. I mean, how long is he going to give you, Drew Brees, to
2,
play?
3
1
years
year? Max 2? I would think maybe just 2, honestly. I mean...
But that's all you need to win a Super Bowl.
So it's got to be a team who's ready
after
already.
That... Yeah. I mean, the team is already ready. So that means that you're just telling Kirk Cousins, I mean, you're going to have to cut him at that point. I don't think he's just going to be like, okay, I'll just sit here on the bench. I mean, maybe, I don't know. He did collect a lot of money as a franchise quarterback. So maybe he just likes collecting that cash. My respects to that guy. He got a lot of money. He just said, okay, I'll franchise tag here, franchise another year, and then just got a big contract with the Vikings. So, I mean, you got to also think of it that way. So I would have think the Washington would be a easier bet for me because there it's not a bad team, and then you're in the NFC least, so you have a good shot to first to make the playoffs, and then maybe have a good run in the playoffs. You never know, and especially if they look at the NFC, that's not that very competitive right now compared to the AFC.
I don't know why, but I mean, if the Browns get their situation dealt with Baker Mayfield and get him out of there, since Deshaun Watson is kind of up in the air, why not just throw him in there 1 or 2 years? It's a good team. It's not bad at all.
What are you talking about? No, that is awful. What are you doing? No, I mean, they're getting Deshaun Watson there. That's
no, yeah, but he's up in the air. Is he gonna play? Do you know? Is it confirmed?
no, but
No, it's not confirmed,
but Drew Brees wants a place where he knows that he'll be the starter. What
For
are you talking
1
about?
or 2 years, exactly.
Okay, but they're already paying Deshaun Watson like a lot of money. Like, why would they do such a thing?
What about the Texans?
No, I want to
No.
go back to this Browns thing. I want to really solidify that it cannot happen at all. How is it possible for him
Well,
to
how
go
much
to the
do you
Browns?
think he's gonna ask? Do you think he's gonna ask a lot of money?
No, but he wants to play.
Yeah, he's
And why
gonna
wouldn't he
play. What if he does play?
No.
What if this Deshaun
So-
Watson situation
What?
never fixes?
We don't know.
itself?
The thing is, it's a question mark with Deshaun Watson to how long he's going to be suspended. What if he's just suspended for 10 games and then or 8 games? So what? You're just going to tell the guy that you're paying a lot of money to hey, well, we're just going to let Drew Brees finish the season and you do it next year? Like, it can't. It's not. That's not how it works. Everybody's going to expect Deshaun Watson to play.
Well,
I mean, to want him to play. I
Of
mean, if they
course,
came
who
out
doesn't?
this year, if they came out this year, the commissioner Roger Goodell and said, "Hey, Watson is suspended for the whole year," then maybe we can discuss it. But at the time right now, that there's no,
well, maybe
we don't
know
know
stuff
what's going on with him.
That we don't know
You
stuff
guys, I
that
had
they
the-
know.
Yeah,
They
they
could-
probably know that he's gonna get suspended. And it's probably on his contract.
Maybe it's
No
behind
play,
the
no
doors,
pay.
like some kind of deal that we don't know that could just kind of accidentally, be a good situation for Drew Brees for that year. But I mean, what other team is he gonna fit in besides
York
the
Giants.
Commanders? Maybe who?
The New York Giants, absolutely, the New York Giants.
I feel like it needs to be a team that's already complete and ready to make a run like that year of, or at least the next year. And the Giants and Commanders, I don't think so. In my opinion, it needs
I
to
think
be
so.
a ready.
I
set
don't know
team.
about Giants, but I do think Washington. They have a good defense. And
But they won't go for him because they got Carson Wentz.
How much did they pay that guy?
I
Like,
don't know,
really?
but it's just same situation with Deshaun Watson. Why are they going?
Yeah.
I think the Giants. I think
What about
also
Daniel
Seattle.
Jones?
Come on, Danny Dimes is not getting the dime anymore.
Well, but this
They're
is like
giving
his
an
last year to
opportunity.
like prove it. Yeah, this is like their last opportunity. Like if we want to be realistic,
Can you imagine if he were to be a Giant quarterback, how much of a problem he would be for the Cowboys, Eagles, and Washington?
I mean, you would think, but also he does. I mean, he's a really good quarterback, but at this point, I wouldn't put him like
Automatically, they're no longer in last place.
True,
Yeah, I mean,
It's exciting. I hope it happens.
true. But
whatever
that's why I
team
would
he's
say the
on, they won't be
Commanders,
last
but-
place. The Commanders, yeah, it's a good fit, but there's no other team that really fits him. That's a situation.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the Giants would be one.
okay. Well, what about the Panthers?
They don't. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
I know they have I know they drafted that quarterback, but I mean that guy can just sit there and learn from Drew Brees. I think he'll be happy and just say goodbye to Sam Darnold. That's not a bad place. I mean, he'll go back to the NFC South,
That's true. Yep.
but I mean, I would think that the NFC East would be a good place for him, and especially like I said, the Commanders.
NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, it's just up for grabs, that title.
in the
honestly.
grand scheme
Mhm.
of things, I don't think it's the right time to come back for him. But if he wants to, go for it. But I don't think he really I don't think he has that many options in teams if he's even interested in coming back. I think the smart decision for him would be just not to go back to playing football. I think he should stay retired and do what he wants to do. But if I had to predict, I think he wouldn't come back. I don't know what you guys think.
Honestly, guys, I think that there's a little bit more to this information of his tweet. I think there's been some talks maybe behind closed doors that maybe he wasn't doing the most amazing job, or just something that is just there that is not that just wasn't working with NBC. Maybe, I mean, who knows? I mean, a lot of these commentators are getting paid a lot of money. Look, they already announced that Tom Brady's going to be working for Fox right after he retires. So, I mean, did he hate it that much for him not to want it? I mean, I don't know how much his payment was, but I mean, it wasn't like super exciting. He sounded a little monotone in my opinion, but it is strange. There could be a little bit more there than just like, well, maybe I'll just come back or whatever. I mean, I'm sure that he still has that itch to come back and play, especially if he sees how Tom Brady can just play, and it's not a big deal. And so maybe he just feels like, you know what, I can give it one more year. Um, so I don't know. I think he can. I think he should come back. I mean, just it sucks when you live with regrets. So and thinking, what if? So just see what team would call for you. Maybe it'll be a surprise. A team that would be a surprise and be like, what? Really? They're asking for him? So we'll see. Why not?
Jameson Winston must be worried.
Would he really go back to New Orleans?
No, I don't think so.
No, but I'm sure like, oh, what? Did I just read he quit? I'm sure he's like,
I think these players, yeah, I'm sure that he's a little nervous. Like, well, hopefully he doesn't come back. This is his shot. This is Jameis Winston's shot. But yeah, I think that Drew Brees is like a lot of quarterbacks, just like a refreshing new start in another team. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. So we'll see.
One and done, just like the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to come back, but it might be a surprise team. I think I don't know, maybe I have like this little feeling that it might just be a team that nobody expected if people were making the predictions. But I think he's not coming back. But anyways, we'll segue on to the next topic. Jair Alexander, he got paid big money, a contract of 4 years worth $84 million. Signing bonus was $30 million, if I'm not wrong. And we're going to ask the question here. Is he worth that money? Or is it just to make him happy? What do you guys think?
I can't speak to if he's worth that money. But I can speak to it might have been a good signing for the team. The Green Bay Packers, the last time they went to the Super Bowl is when they had an elite defense. And I think that's when they were rated number 2 overall. And I think that was in 2010 when they went. And if you look at the teams that eliminate the Packers, they're not usually like great in. I mean, they're great in offense, but they have really elite defenses. So, I know for sure the number one thing to make Aaron Rodgers happy is to have an elite defense, and this is why they signed him. That one time where they won this game, and I don't remember it was last year or 2 years ago, but the commentators asked, Aaron Rodgers, how does he feel about the team winning? And his only responses was, we have a defense. So I know for sure that this is something to make Aaron Rodgers happy because he wants a defense, because he can score. But can the team defend?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you really think that's what makes him happy? I mean, you can't. I don't.
Well, I mean, there's many things that don't make him happy, right? But that's one of the many things.
He has a low standard for the team at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a good defense, yeah, for sure, and it helps you win. I'm 100% with you, but I mean, I think what he also gets really frustrated in is that the Packers don't help him to give him some weapons, especially in. I mean, we've seen that problem with the draft that they never get him like some weapons in the first round.
Well, it seems he's okay with that because the wide receivers taken in the first round are busts. But
I think he just said like that for like an excuse, maybe.
I don't know.
I think I think he likes the money, and I think he likes the attention.
Well, who doesn't like money?
Well, I mean, but you can say that there's some players, like for example, I know that I believe Aaron Rodgers is 38 and Tom Brady is 44. So I can't, I mean, I could be wrong here, but it's been a while that Tom Brady has been doing like pay cuts to help the team so they can win Super Bowls. So I'm thinking that when he was 38 years old, he was already doing that. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't think I think he just prefers to get paid regardless of the winning the Super Bowl. Now, I mean, of course he would like to win the Super Bowl, but I think it's more about, you know what, I prefer getting paid. And yeah, he gets his weapons, even if they leave, like, you know, it is what it is, as long as I get paid in some ways. So,
well, if you look at the draft, they got Quay Walker, linebacker from Georgia. That was their round 1 pick at 2020 on pick 22.
let's see, another defensive player taking in the first
Plus,
round.
they signed this guy, so I think they're trying to do like a ready to win now kind of defense for the Super Bowl. They need it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that they need weapons in the offense? Like, I mean, they had the number 1 wide receiver, and now he's not there anymore. That was the one that he would just shoot it up in the air and he would just catch it. I mean, yeah, he would put it like right for him, but I mean, you also need that guy's like talent to win those one-on-one matchups and be able to catch it. So,
They drafted a wide receiver.
yeah, but not in the first round.
But, you know, maybe it's right. You know, not all wide receivers are great in the first round.
No, I mean, but you can say that also for like, hey, there's some really not good wide receivers in the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh round.
I'm sure he's content with that one wide receiver that he got.
I think he's content looking at his bank account. But, I mean, if we're thinking about Jair Alexander, I mean, if you look at his stats for Jair Alexander, he started playing with the Packers in 2018. He had 1 interception. I mean, it's because it's kind of hard to look at the cornerbacks because a lot of people are just like judging interceptions, and that's not how you should judge a cornerback. You expect that to be a shutdown corner. So if your cornerback, if he doesn't have that many interceptions, that may be a factor that he's doing a really good job, that the quarterbacks are not even looking at his direction because he's a shutdown corner and he doesn't allow those wide receivers to catch anything. But, I mean, was he a shutdown corner right off the bat in 2018? He only had 1 interception. In 2019, he had 2 interceptions. 2020, only 1. And last year, he only had 1. So, I mean, I'm not even counting his
sacks?
His sacks. It's only 1.5, honestly, in his whole career. So they don't use him for that, which, I mean, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. He's 5'10", 196 pounds. So he's not that tall. He's just a fast dude. He's 25 years old. He came from the University of Louisville. So
solid.
He's solid. He's a solid cornerback, but is he better than the other cornerbacks that are getting paid? I mean, we have Denzel Ward. I don't think he's better than Denzel Ward. I don't know about you guys. Jalen Ramsey, who's better, Alexander, Jalen Ramsey? I mean, maybe you can do a debate on that because maybe Jalen Ramsey lost a step. Or
didn't he just get paid?
Well, he got paid and traded, but that was like 3 years ago, I think. 2-3 years ago.
Is it time for another payday?
I don't know.
It's a little too soon, no?
Then Marlon Humphreys, he's a really good cornerback from the Ravens. And then I would put Alexander better than the next one, which would be Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. Definitely, I still think that Jair Alexander is better than Xavier Howard from the Dolphins. So, I mean, I don't think he's better than Denzel Ward, and I don't think better than Marlon Humphreys. But I think he just got to get paid just to make him feel like, hey, you're our guy, you're our cornerback, and here's your money. I mean, this being the top paid player is just last a little bit until the next one comes
Right.
up. So it's not
He's getting
not a huge
the
deal.
Aaron Rodgers treatment, but on the
I mean,
defensive side.
Denzel Ward is after Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander's getting 21 million per year, and Jair Ward's getting 20,100,000. So he's getting $900,000 more than Denzel Ward, almost $1 million. And then after that, it's Jalen Ramsey with 20 million. So Denzel Ward's only getting $100,000 more. So, I mean, honestly, if you look at the contracts as well, I mean, Denzel Ward and Jalen Ramsey, as I was saying that I don't think Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander's better than them. I mean, look at the guarantees that Denzel Ward got. He got $71 million guaranteed, and Jalen Ramsey as well, $71 million. So it's all about the guaranteed money. So I think it's like a way of showing Jair Alexander, look, you're the highest paid player, cornerback, average per year. But if you look at the contracts in detail, he's not the best cornerback there, and contract wise, because the other guys are getting more money guaranteed, and that speaks for a lot. So if you want to know how a team is actually going to be, like how they're treating their player, how they think of this player, look at the guaranteed money, and 30 million it's less than half of Denzel Ward and Jalen Ramsey's guaranteed money, and also Marlon Humphreys and Marshawn Lattimore. Less than half.
And in 4 seasons, Alexander has totaled 180 total tackles, 44 pass deflections, 5 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles.
That's just the media showing, like I mean, not the media. They're just reporting.
He got a shoulder injury, so
They're just reporting what the contract is, but I mean, if they really look at the details, he's not the highest paid when you were looking at guaranteed. And even look, 2027 in his contract that they gave him, he's gonna be a free agent. So in 5 years, Denzel Ward, not a year later, 2028. So that also tells you, like I think the Packers did a solid job, probably making him happy and not paying too much for him.
Yeah. When was it? When Byron Jones left the Cowboys, it was he became the highest paid cornerback when he went to the Dolphins, right? Or am I wrong? Like at that time, because it wasn't.
I think so. And he's even getting more guaranteed money than Jair Alexander at 54 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So it's like, and I mean, would you put them in the same, like they're that type of cornerback? They're just kind of like a shutdown. They're not too flashy.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that. Yeah,
they're more technical.
I still think Jair Alexander is a little bit better than Byron Jones.
Oh yeah,
not by a lot, but still better than him. I mean, the Chargers got Jackson, and he's a really solid cornerback, and he's even getting paid $40 million guaranteed money.
I still can't believe they got 2 of like the one like really, 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 really good defenders. It was Khalil Mack and Jackson as well. Like they're just
watch out for the Chargers this year.
Oh my gosh, that's like almost I would say Rams move what they did there. And they're just going on big names. That's going to be something to watch for sure.
Yeah, but and they still have Boza there. So, I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
That team is solid.
And they got Asante Samuel.
I still think it's just a solid, let's keep our defense ready. Because they have... I'm looking at the draft. Round 1, Quay Walker, linebacker. Same thing in round 1. Devontae Wyatt. Defensive line. So sounds like they're just beefing it up and they're just keeping it that way. not just keeping them happy. They need him.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Which is like, I mean, what team wouldn't want to keep that kind of player, right?
And maybe for, well, what's the contract like again? I forgot.
It's 4 years, 84 million, and 30 guaranteed.
It's because I look at their wide receivers and I'm like, what is this? Christian Watson.
They're obviously investing all their money on defense. That's very obvious. And I think Yams made a good point there, which was like they're trying to win the Super Bowl with a massive defense and a subpar offense with an amazing quarterback.
Yeah.
It's happened before, no? I mean, I don't doubt it that it's happened before. I mean, I don't know if you guys can come up with like good examples of. I don't know if it could have been with the Chicago versus the Colts. That was like when the Chicago won that Super Bowl. That was like a defense, like a
with Rex Grossman. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
What's up?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because now I had a point that I've been failing to mention is just look at Peyton Manning when he won. He didn't do anything amazing, and he's Peyton Manning. And remember how stacked that defense was.
Okay, but are we comparing? And I apologize if I'm getting your guys' points incorrectly, but are you comparing that the Peyton Manning in his last year, and also Aaron? Are you comparing Rex Grossman to Aaron Rodgers now?
No. I'm comparing the events. We're saying that what they're trying to do is trying to go all in on the defense because they trust their quarterback enough to do crazy things with average wide receivers.
What's the difference between what they have? Okay, I still say that they've been doing that for the last few years. What's the difference?
They're just
what do you mean?
They're drafting more defense and they're making sure none of those pieces leave.
That's what they've been doing though.
Yeah, but why do they lose games? They can put up points.
They can put up. Well, why do they lose games?
Why do they lose games? Why did they lose this last time against the San Francisco?
49ers?
Wasn't there like a
It's just that the 49ers had a really good offensive scheme.
What do they have though?
They had Debo.
And what else? That he couldn't do so much. A good defense. They need it. Look, I'm ignorant in the whole contract stuff. They mean nothing to me, really, because the next year, guess what? The salary cap goes up. And following year, and the following year, and the following year, and the following year. So the NFL and the teams, they find a way to make it work. Unless you're the Cowboys and you pay everybody, but...
What's your point? You can't just stop at saying and then just like stop. Like if you're like done with your point.
No, it's deserved. It's honestly deserved.
Okay, so you were just trying to make a jab at the
throwing trash.
Just throwing trash at the Cowboys. Yes.
Okay.
So a good pointer is in that divisional round last season with the Packers and 49ers. It was a low scoring game. It was 13-10. That's not a lot of points. I mean, yeah, they did held the 49ers to not a high scoring game because I mean they're capable of doing that with that kind of offense that they have. So you can say they did a really good job. I mean, did the Cowboys do a good job against that 49ers offense in the wild card round? No, of course not.
Nah, they were all over the place.
Yeah, so you can't.
Is that the one where they had like 4 seconds to score?
Yes. Let's not talk about that. I'm trying not to get PTSD from that. But in that scenario, like you're trying to compare them, and it's like they have a really good offense and they're capable of such things of what they did to the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys weren't really meant to be there, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they've had also other amazing games with that offense that they were able to produce. So obviously the defense was key here. It's just, it just wasn't their game.
Well, I would say this: Aaron Rodgers is a freak show of a quarterback. He's he's top 3. So whoever he has in wide receiver, he's just that type of quarterback that just makes those wide receivers better or looking better. He's like Tom Brady, making any other wide receivers looking better. I mean, Tom Brady has won that way without like big time wide receivers, and Rodgers has not. I mean, I wouldn't say he's just as talented as Tom Brady, but I mean, he's the closest in their style of playing. So, I mean, I see here Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, as the wide receivers, and they got Christian. They have Christian Watson, and they got Sammy Watkins, but he's not even a starter right now. Am I seeing in their depth chart? And I mean, Aaron Jones, he's a really good running back with AJ Dillon. So I don't know what they're. I mean, it's been 12 years since they went to the Super Bowl. And having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback and just being to the Super Bowl just that one time, I think is disgraceful for the Green Bay. It's awful. I mean, who would have killed to have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, having that talent, regardless of his personality and all of that stuff? But, I mean, he doesn't control like the team. He's not the head guy. You put the pieces around so you can win. And it's very, very irresponsible of Green Bay of how they're doing. They're just throwing this opportunity away. We all know it's super hard, extremely hard to find a franchise quarterback, and they actually have one that is going to go down in history as one of the best quarterbacks of all times, and they've only went to the Super Bowl one time. Yeah, they won, but come on. Are you kidding? Like, that is just unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, I like the way I'm trying to see is I see their point, but it is most definitely a mistake. Like, I completely agree with you. I don't know what the hell they're doing with this offense. It's just terrible. I feel like they're disrespecting, one of the best quarterbacks right now. So I think their situation is being held very poorly when it comes to the offensive side. So maybe that's why they're just going all in on the defense, which, I mean, it wasn't even that all in because they couldn't get big names like Khalil Mack or Jackson, or what were other big names? They couldn't even get I know they have Adrian Amos at safety, but they couldn't even get Matthew, Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know any other big names that were, or I can't remember any big name defense players that were free agents. I can't think of any right now, but I mean, they could have done a better job overall. But I mean, they did draft, like Cam said, defense at the very beginning with the first round. It was a linebacker. Who knows? We'll see about that. But, I mean, anyways, we'll move on with that and go on along with the Detroit Lions, who I didn't really think about it, but it was a good point brought up that they don't really have any primetime games on. I mean, to some it might be an obvious answer. To others it might not be. So we'll ask that question. What do you guys think about the Detroit Lions not having any primetime games? The closest thing they come to was probably just Thanksgiving, and that's not even considered primetime because it's just in the morning. So do you think they deserve one?
I think it's messed up. I think it's messed up that they don't have at least one. At least one. And just like you mentioned, there is Thanksgiving. I don't know if that counts. It is primetime, I think.
I don't think so.
It really depends on how you define it.
Because the
but everybody can watch it.
But everyone can see it.
Yeah, so they can with the first morning game of like Sunday. Don't they have multiple Monday night games? Like
the NFL doesn't. They don't.
Favoritism.
They're not taking this as a prime time. That's the television. They're not taking the Thanksgiving as prime time. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why it's
a topic.
It's a topic, right?
Yeah,
they don't have any prime time games. I know this is pure favoritism. The NFL, it's pure favoritism. I know it's based on popularity. I know it's also based on ratings.
Well, yeah, of course, it's business.
Yeah, I know. But speaking as a fan, not with a business mind, I don't own the NFL. I don't make money off the NFL. A team should at least have one game, one primetime game, if possible. I don't know if it's possible in the schedule. Lions are an okay team. They've been in the football for a long time. I'm sure they have big football fans up there in the East.
Just Detroit, probably. I don't know who else would be a fan of
Well,
Detroit.
I like I said, it's messed up. I know. I think this is the second year they have no primetime game.
I think in recent time, yeah. Yeah, I was seeing something. I was seeing something about that. It was like in the last 4 or 3 years or something like that. They haven't
something like that, right?
Yeah, twice they haven't had a single primetime game, and they're the only ones without one this season, which is just crazy.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
that's messed up. And again, I know it's based on popular.
Well, they were the second overall pick in the draft.
I know they're not a very good team. I know that. But if you play a not a very good team against a not very good team, it will be a good game. So ratings that's good. That's ratings. But look, I'll just say this. Favoritism. Cowboys.
They have way too many primetime games. And I mean, come on. And when it comes to that kind of market, I mean, they're the highest valued ones. It makes sense. I mean, why would you not favorite them? It's just money. It's all about the money. They have the biggest fan base. They usually drag in the biggest crowd when it comes to viewing these kinds of games. It only makes sense. I would do the same thing. I mean, the Detroit Lions are going to bring me that many viewers compared to someone like the Cowboys. Come on. It sucks. Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. That's how I see it.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's the nature of the business.
Well, at least they have for them that they're going to be on Hard Knocks. They're the team that everybody's going to be. If whoever's a fan of Hard Knocks and HBO, they are the team that are going to be. They're going to be placed there.
It's not like they're completely shunned.
So yeah, it's not like they're completely forgotten. No, I mean, another thing. I've seen worse Detroit teams. I remember the year that they lost all the games with Ron Marinelli. So that was just awful to watch. I remember even their quarterback John Kitno just threw his helmet and just screamed, "We suck!" It was that awful. I mean, if you wanted to win money and bets, that would be the easiest bets. That the Detroit Lions were gonna lose and by a lot. And last year they weren't losing by a lot, honestly.
They were close in all of their games, I think.
They actually
beat the Cardinals.
They beat the Arizona Cardinals 30-12.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings, they went 29-27. So at least they were competitive games. And okay, they do have the Thanksgiving game. I mean, that's tradition, and I like tradition, so let's just keep it how it is. So it's just weird. I mean, the Jets and the Jaguars have a primetime game together.
Okay, two sucky teams against each other.
Yeah, I put a question mark there. What's up with that?
Two sucky teams against each other, and also you have the number 1 and number 2.
But I mean, maybe there's some fans out there they want to see Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson again round 2. So I mean, and maybe people got tired of watching Jared Goff play as a quarterback. We saw him in a lot of primetime games, and it wasn't that exciting.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I mean, I think the coach is kind of Rex Ryan-ish in a way. So I'm sure we're gonna be seeing that type of stuff in Hard Knocks. But win some games. It's not the NFL's fault. Win some games, make it more exciting to watch you, and then we'll watch you. We'll prefer to see these games that you're gonna play. But if you ask people fans across the country, they'll be like, "Are you surprised?" If you ask them the question, "Are you surprised that Detroit Lions don't have a primetime game?" They're probably gonna tell you no. So it's for me, it's fine. I mean, if you want to deserve it, win some games. This is not a let's give you an opportunity here. It's business. Win some games, make it exciting, and we'll put you on primetime games.
Yeah, you have to be sort of an elite quarterback to be on a Sunday night consistently.
Yeah, they don't
Really?
have a player
What
that
about
sticks
Baker?
out. Oh well.
When did Baker come on?
Yeah, he's been on primetime Sunday night games, and he's not that elite.
Against whom?
I don't remember, but wasn't he?
Well, at least if you look at least this year, you see Rams like twice, you see Chiefs twice,
Well,
you
the
see
Super Bowl
Buccaneers
winners.
twice,
It's Patrick Mahomes.
you see Cowboys there.
I think it's more so
that's a
like if they
question.
have primetime players. And all those teams that are mentioned in the primetime games do have really, really good players to be shown on the screen. I mean, who's on? I'm trying to think who's like an elite player in the with the Lions right now.
They got DJ Shark.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, come on, like you can't think of because I mean, if you think of the Eagles right now, you think of AJ Brown immediately. You know, you think of the Cowboys, you think of like a bunch of players, CeeDee Lamb, you know, Micah Parsons now. Commanders. Give me a name for Commanders. Who's big name there?
Oh well, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, there you
of
go.
course.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
I think it's more so like now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's because they don't have big time players and that's it. It's that simple. Like, there's nothing exciting to look about the Lions. I'm sorry, like as harsh as that sounds right now, but I mean it's the truth, and eventually they'll get there. I have a feeling they will get to that point to where they get a really good team along. It's just a matter of fact of when. I mean, they got that cool coach. He got famous this past season because he got very emotional about that win, right? He was like crying or something like that.
Dan
like, he's
Campbell?
very passionate. Yeah, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he got pretty famous early on when he had a press conference and he
As announced now as a head coach.
announced as a head coach, and he basically said
Yeah.
they're gonna work hard, they're gonna come back, they're gonna come for your kneecaps. So yeah, he's a pretty loud man.
Well, TJ Hawkinson, their tight end, is a solid fantasy tight end, just FYI, in my opinion. And then DeAndre Swift, well, he got injured last year, so maybe we'll see some type of good like offense in the running game with Swift and Jamal Williams. So I don't know. Jared Goff needs to play better, and I think also Dan Campbell threw him under the bus last year.
He is the game.
He told him like we need our quarterback to play better. So I mean it is what it is. And also like I'll also put in a little bit of a question mark with primetime games this year because Amazon is like taking over the world. So they're taking over the NFL little by little, and especially with these Thursday night games. You're gonna have to stream these games. Either you go to a bar and you watch it, or if you want to watch it at home, there's gonna be a lot of people that don't have Prime. So I mean, they have a risk there, for people that don't have Amazon Prime, and it's just gonna be. I don't know if you consider that completely prime time. Because there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be frustrated, or maybe they don't even know how do I watch these games right in prime time. Not everybody's like so easy like to just let's put these games on. Or it's easy just to purchase it right there and then with Amazon Prime. So that's something to also take under consideration. Not all Thursday night games should be considered like it's like I would put it like an asterisk there as prime. Which probably that's the Jets and Jaguars, right? A Thursday
on
night.
Amazon, probably.
Yeah. Like I said. So yeah, they got a really good right tackle with Penny Sewell too.
They did, yeah, last year, right? Last year pickup.
Right. Because they drafted early again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the consequences. You draft early, you don't get prime time. But I mean, if you're a coach and a team, aren't you a little bit relieved that you don't have to have prime time games? Like, I mean, you know your schedule.
Maybe. Yeah.
You play, and that's it. You play in the morning or in the afternoon, and you're done. Like there's no prime time game. And then what if they are really good? Let's just say a scenario they're really good. There's also those flex games too.
They don't say that. Flex games don't happen.
They do happen.
No, they don't.
Not for them, and I mean because they start after week 5, so probably not
Who
for
gets
them.
flexed? Cowboys.
I mean, not
They already have 5.
Actually, let me correct you. Last year they were kicked off of one of their
Are you
flex
sure?
games. Yes, they were kicked off because they weren't playing very well, or was it 2 years ago? But they have been flexed out of their.
I remember it the opposite last year, but look.
Maybe it wasn't last year; it was 2 years ago.
I
But
remember
they were
Andy
playing pretty
Dalton.
badly. I think it was with Dak. With Dak Prescott went down, and yeah, so it was that year. They
This year it got
out.
flexed. I remember. Look, but to say what you just kind of piggyback off what you just said, Dan Campbell, he likes it. He said, quote, "You knock them out, you go home, you get ready for your next opponent. You're not waiting all day in the hotel all night, and you have to go up, and now you're in a short week." And that's what it feels like.
Yeah, like I
So
said,
he
maybe.
likes it.
Well, I mean, he's got to. If they ask him about it, he's got to look
Oh,
at the
yeah,
positive
he has to
side,
say
right?
positive things.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe it's not a.
Not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Just like, I mean.
Why not? You get to work, you get your work done, you go home early. Done.
You're done.
Hmm.
And show everybody what you got, and maybe you'll be
Mhm.
flexing later in the year.
Yeah. This is the year to prove them wrong and show why they deserve it. I mean, and then Hutchinson might be an insane player. We gotta see what he does this season. Yeah.
Yep.
I hope the best for them. They've been struggling for quite some time. Like, how many
The whole
years has
city
it been? Like,
Well,
they deserve something
Matthew
well.
Stafford.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but,
another
like-
thing though. Matthew Stafford is gone, so I think they got less now.
That's a
Yeah.
situation, and it's kind of like the Green Bay situation. If you put Aaron Rodgers and another team, they can maybe win the Super Bowl. Just like Matthew Stafford, it's teams just wasting away talent, and that's something that is probably happening to Aaron Rodgers, regardless of his personality. I get it, his personality is hardcore. But if he moves somewhere else, I mean, we might even see it this year with Russell Wilson. So we'll see. But yeah, Detroit, I don't know what, it's one of those organizations that's just got to get their act together culturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But eventually, I mean, they do deserve their primetime game, but they just gotta get better and build up that culture. I do agree. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna be it unless you guys have anything else to say.
I don't.
No, just again, guys, check out our Instagram page. It's at football_tailgaters, and look at our posts, comment, tell us if you guys want us to talk about something particular. Let us know, and we'll plug it in.
Awesome, yeah. All right, thank you for listening. Until next time, this has been the Football Tailgaters podcast, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Thank you.